Welcome to Public Comment. I'm John Dunbar, former mayor of Yountville.
And I'm Alfredo Pedroza, farm.
Benjamin Martinez, commercial painter.
Thanks for joining us as we talk about politics, people, and whatever else Benjamin wants to. Could have gone to shit.
It could have, but it put me on the map.
It's not easy to do the right thing.
Could you trust the business? Can you trust the company you signed up for?
Even 5 years ago, construction was so different.
Undercutting, cutting corners, shitty work quality.
It just pisses me off. Alfredo, I'm pleased to be able to invite our good friend Benjamin with us today to learn a little bit about his life experience here in the Valley, running a business, being a multi-generational business, and just what else is going on with you and your life. So welcome. Thanks for being here. And just share a little bit of your background, like how you've gotten to the point you're in right now with your family, with your business, and
Can I ask him a
everything
question
else.
Before, though?
And then Alfredo's going to
Is this
change.
how it normally goes?
Yeah,
You guys just bickering
We don't
back
know
and
what we're
forth?
doing.
Was he
so-
your worst client, customer?
I mean, it's all confidential, so I cannot say.
He signed an NDA. He can't talk about it.
Lord, he painted your house. I just wanted to know. I knew how you were as a mayor.
He painted our Yountville house, and then we sold it. And then he painted our new house and fixed all the dry rot. So I'm really indebted to Ben.
That's a 5-star rating, John.
No, they
Well
did.
done.
They-
I follow
excellent.
John wherever he goes.
Right.
Oh, Lord.
No, that's it. We're done with relocation.
And just so you know, no retention, bills are paid.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Well done, Johnny boy.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Your
all right.
team at RLM is awesome, and we'll get into that. But tell us a little bit about your life experience and what's got you here today.
From the beginning.
Well,
Ish.
not too far.
The short version of the beginning.
Yeah. Well, my dad started RLM Enterprises in 1986. And it was, he started as like a residential painter, right? Painting houses, grew to be able to do like small commercial, little strip malls,
Was this just in Napa
tilt-up
then?
buildings. Yeah.
Okay.
Napa and like the surrounding area, 30-mile radius.
North Bay.
Yeah. And so all through high school and after I worked with my dad. And so that's all I know is construction, right? So it's not just painting. Like, you know, I grew up in the construction home. So building, you know, fences and decks and additions and tile and plumbing. So I'm, what's that saying where
Jack of all trades.
jack of all trades, or you're a master of none, but well, what is that saying?
I will say the saying I'm going to give you is you guys were a master of all of it because you did such an amazing job painting and repair and some renovation twice for me. But that's not what's been most impressive about my knowing you and wanting to talk to you about is how you've managed to continue to evolve the business and also continue the legacy that your dad started. And it's got to be hard. I mean, being a small business owner and
In California.
with regulation, with all that, you know, how is it that you're able to manage all that? And then you actually have a personal life and you get to do things outside of the kind of the day-to-day job. But what is it like to run the company and just to continue that work?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. It is hard. It's extremely difficult. I can start by saying, having someone behind you, like my wife, that supports you and can just be with you through the thick and thin, because it is hard. And Elizabeth does everything on the home front. The kids, the school, the schedule, the baseball, the soccer, the dance, the hockey, you name it. Like, she's got it. She does it. She does pickup. She does drop off, all the stuff. And without that partner doing that would make it so much more difficult to grow and run not just one business, but multiple businesses and properties and all the stuff. And so, you know, I gotta give it up to the wifey. She's a huge part. But, you know, back to the start of it all, right? Like, my dad started the company, and when I ended up taking over in 2015, I bought the business 100% completely from my dad. And we had to do it that way because we're family and there's just too many connections. It can't be like, well, you still own a little bit or
Make
you do
it
this
clean,
clean cut. Right. And so we worked out a good deal for me to kind of take care of him. And then I had to go get my contractor's license, workman's comp, general liability, all the stuff. And one of the most like important things to me that I wanted to do for my employees was give them full-time work. Because when I was in the trades and working, I knew every winter would come and work is slow. And you're living paycheck to paycheck, right? And you don't have a bunch of money and you're just kind of grinding. Winter comes and you're like, oh man, like I don't have work for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, or whatever the case is. So when I took over the business, I was like, hey, I do not want my employees to feel like that. And so the only way, the path of least resistance at the time was just get bigger work. And so I just went out, anybody I talked to, let's go to lunch. Let me take you to lunch. Let me take you to dinner. Like just networking, personal, relational kind of business. And that helped tremendously.
Who taught you that though, Ben, right? Because I can only imagine the way your dad built it was probably different than how you had to grow it though, right?
Oh yeah.
So how did you learn that skill instead of saying, man, I got to go grind. I got to go hustle. I got to go wine and dine.
And to know who to go talk to.
Yeah. Cause that's hard. That's not easy, right?
You just figured it out.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And it was all trial and error. And what I did know is my trade, and I knew construction in and out. And if you had the need, I was the yes man. Right. And starting my business, you can't do everything. Right. But I would say yes to everything.
You don't want to say no to a client. You figure it out.
I'll figure it out. And I remember even a mentor of mine, there was a big project with Caltrans, and it was over $1 million, and it was the Posey Webster Tunnel that connects Oakland to Alameda. There's 2 historical like big towers at each end of the tunnel. And it's a prevailing wage job. So you're dealing with Caltrans, state historians, the whole 9 yards. It was
bureaucracy.
A lot of red tape. And one of my mentors was like, hey, Benjamin, this is a little, you're going too fast too soon. Consider slowing down and maybe not jumping into this.
Just a little caution.
And I'm in my late 20s.
Yeah. You're invincible. You're bold.
I know everything. Nobody knows more than me, right? Yeah. And so I took it on, and luckily I did, and it was a great job. But we completed it, and it was on the news, and so like there was a lot of like healthy publicity. And so it
could have gone to shit.
It could have, but it put me on the map.
Yeah,
and awesome. Now other GCs, other counties and stuff can see. Oh, RLM Enterprises. You can handle this. You can do this. And so that was the kind of the first big job that we kind of kicked off that like set the tone like, oh, we can do this. And then from there, it's like, okay, 200, 300, 400 unit apartment complexes, big resorts. Like,
so how's the risk though, Ben, for someone that doesn't understand the painting business, right? Because we've had different people on here that are business owners like Rick Kaufman, Grant Long, Chef Ken Franken. They all have a business perspective, right? You have to scale up, right, to take on those projects. So like, what is it like for someone that doesn't know your industry? Do you have to hire more people? Do you have to go get equipment? Like what risks do you take to get to that point?
And before you answer that, I want to make sure people understand.
That was a great question.
It was a very good question, but it was incomplete.
It's not
just about painting. It is about, you have skilled laborers. Also, I know this firsthand from what we did.
You're augmenting my question.
I'm adding to your very well thought out question and making it better.
I'm just going to kick back and watch this. You guys, you don't need me here. This is great.
But it is like you're talking about the Alameda Tube. I grew up in Oakland and know exactly that tube you're talking about. And the complexity of not only that, but you get into commercial work, you're still doing residential work. And some of that is very skilled labor. And you talk about, so how do you, to your point, find the right resources whether they're full-time or, when you ramp up for a particular job, that's a bigger job than normal, that kind of stuff. How do you figure that all out?
Yeah, that's a big concern, a big problem, and one I'm kind of migrating through right now too. When you do the type of work that I do now, which is, there's no project that could be built in our area that's too big for me to handle.
Yeah.
And, we did the Four Seasons Resort in Calistoga. We did the Meritage, hotel. We did everything out at Stanley Ranch. We do a lot of Hyatts, Marriotts.
You did a couple things in Yountville too. Community center.
Yeah, community center. Yeah. We did, let's see, the courthouse building here. We also did the courthouse in Vallejo. We do a lot of like prevailing wage, Davis-Bacon projects as well. But, you need a good amount of guys to do that, right? And so what's really important is, what's hard is if you go through a slow season, you can't get rid of your guys.
That's the
right. So I'm always, I always run 60 to 100 painters, and let's call it 60. And we go through a slow season and I really only need 20 guys. Well, I can't just fire these guys because I've got all these contracts on the book.
Yeah, you're going to need those
forecasting.
And the GCs have no mercy. No mercy. Their job is the most important constantly. So, these jobs hit. If I go down to 20 guys, I can't just go out next week and hire 20, 30, 40 people. You just can't.
To deliver on that skill set that you need.
So you got to keep these guys busy, and you got to keep, call it my round is 60. I got to keep at least 60 guys, whether I'm super busy or super slow, because when the work does come in, I need to staff up.
Yeah.
And, with the GCs, I'm bound by the contract.
Yeah.
You gotta staff up. You gotta maintain. You can't screw up the schedule. It's a lot. And so I've got a lot of guys with me that have been with me for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
A good amount of my staff are really, really good guys are still with me from when my dad
that's awesome.
ran it.
Yeah.
And so I was actually working in the field with
Some
these
of those guys.
So Johnny, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Johnny, Johnny
I
too.
love Johnny.
Johnny worked for my dad, and we employ his whole family. And he was with my dad. I grew up next to him painting. His older brother actually taught me how to paint, and still with me, still one of my best guys.
Yeah.
And it's good. So anyways, you got to keep these guys rolling. And one of the hardest things that I found is trying to hire middle management. It's so hard. Really? Middle management is one of those things that they're either asking for a fortune and don't really know anything, or they're just mediocre. I mean, I've just had
Is that project management specifically, or are you talking about administrative?
Yeah. So superintendents, project managers, and I'd say senior estimators.
That's hard. But, I think here's one of the things that I think we like to do, John, is highlight the challenges, right, of what business owners have to go through. So
the realities.
Yeah. So like when things are humming, then I'm assuming it's great. But when things are low and you're still trying to honor what's right by your people, that's hard as a business owner, right? And I think that's what we have to set a perspective on. It's not easy to do the right thing, but you're still trying to plan ahead of saying, hey, if that project comes in, you need to be ready. And that's the nature of a service-based business, right? It's a roller coaster ride.
Totally.
But you have to invest in your people.
Well,
and we've heard that from like Rick Kaufman and others, Grant Long, that's saying like, hey, sometimes it hurts, but it's a light at the end of the tunnel.
But
right? That keeps you
so
going.
you were running the company during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And to that point, restaurant owners, winery owners, every business had the question about, do you keep your staff on or not? And if you keep them on, as you've done, that's an expense, and you don't have the revenue coming in, and you have to figure that out. And not everybody made it through.
Yeah.
And so those are also the things that we really want to highlight when we have somebody like you on the pod is the the challenges it is to run a business, and the legacy that you're continuing and the commitment you've made to your team. People take it for granted too often that, they sign you up for a contract and they won't work, and they forget everything behind your business that has to work for you to be able to deliver on for the client. That's why I was always so impressed and respected every single person you had on your teams when we had projects. They were not only professional and really good at their work, but they were great people to have on our properties. And that's not happening all the time. We're seeing an amazing commitment right across the street here with the 300 Venture Group building these two, the hotel and the condominium complex, and have really kind of praised the commitment they've made to their staff and their impact on the community too. Because when you're building a couple hundred unit apartment complex, you're impacting people's, neighborhoods and their homes. And so you have impacts on site. But
they've
also
impacted
offsite.
us with their freaking crane that blows the horn all the time and interrupts our podcast. So you're right.
It gave us
Huge
good ambiance. It was almost like we had music in the background. But, I know I'm rambling about the quality of service, but also the quality of people you have.
Yeah.
And that stands out. People remember that when you deliver that.
So maybe we ask a question about like competition, Ben. So,
Well, before you start, I'm sure you're trying to diss John in some way right now, but let me, for the record, thank you for the kind words.
Gosh.
Alfredo, just quiet.
That hurts him just enough.
You're going to hate this. There is a little running joke we have in the office when we deal with like difficult clients.
John?
His name does come up, but
not the way you think.
It's not the way you think. It's why can't they be more like the Dunbars? Because, and I'm not lying. You can ask Andrea. She's sitting outside.
We have edit privileges.
Edit this out.
Get scratched.
Caleb's already been instructed to turn off your microphone.
No, it's not.
For this part of the episode.
John Dunbar was one of our best clients to deal with. Responded quickly.
No, it's Jerry.
Paid on time.
It's Jerry.
Blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
So, hey,
let's
thank you. Yeah.
No, okay, that was
Thank you. You're
awesome.
welcome.
That was all
your
Jerry.
name.
We can let Alfredo go now. We can just keep talking.
Gosh. So let's go to competition. Real question.
All right.
Complimenting Jerry. Jerry deserves it. But so how's it like though, Ben, dealing with the competition in your industry, right? So do you
By the way, thank you. Cheers.
Yeah.
Edit that too, please. So,
you know what? Let's just have a conversation here.
No. We want viewership, John. You're gonna put the viewers to sleep with that bromance that you all have going on. But with competition,
so just business. Let's get down to business.
So how is it like though, Ben, dealing with the competition, right? So to your point, like you have to take care of your people. You're trying to do good jobs like you did for John, right, because of Jerry. But like, do you face people underbidding? Do you face people trying to cut corners, right? Because we all deal with that in different sectors. In ag, we deal with it. In politics, we dealt with it, right? So what is that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. And it's changed so much, as you guys know, like over the years, even 5 years ago, like construction was so different. And red tape keeps getting redder.
Tariffs probably aren't helping your situation.
Yeah. I mean,
costs of materials.
Back when tariffs like first kicked off, because we were taxing Canada, right? And so we get a lot of steel from Canada.
True.
And we want to manufacture it here. Okay, that's great. But what's the infrastructure? Do we have it?
No.
Are we ready? Right. So, all right, if we're going to tax, we got 25% on Canada bringing all our steel in. We already know wood has been taxed up the yin yang, right?
Yeah.
So we're paying a lot of wood prices. Now the rest of the building is metal. And so now all the
cost goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if it's 25% tariffs, by the time it hits the homeowner, you're 50, 60% more to complete this job. And so yeah, that's a big thing. But what was the
competition?
Oh yeah, undercutting, cutting corners.
Oh yeah,
shitty work quality.
Low bid and then change order the thing to death,
or just people that honestly shouldn't be painters, but they just hired them and they don't know what the hell they're doing, right?
Well, before, like back in the day, I'm talking, I could do jobs on a handshake.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a man of my word.
Yeah.
I'm going to paint your building. I'm going to paint your complex, your house, whatever the case is, and do it. Now it's called the squeeze. All the GCs out there are going to hate me right now, but
They deserve it.
it's
Inside
the squeeze.
info.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the squeeze, right? So I'll give you a quick, example. So say there's a project, I'm bidding on it, and the job is worth $1 million, and all the paint numbers are coming in $1 million, $1.1 million, $1.05 million, and my number went in $800,000. So I'm low. And maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I missed something, right? And that's usually when you get these jobs is because you missed something. So I'm $800,000. And the GC then calls and says, hey, Benjamin, we've got this relationship. We love you. You're on the short list and we really want to use you, but we've got these other numbers. Can you please sharpen your pencil? Can you see what you can do? Right. And so me not knowing anything, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you don't know the other bids.
I'm at $800,000.
You're trying to.
I'm close, but there's other guys that are lower. And I'm thinking, how the heck can they be lower than me? Because I went in so tight on this job, right? So I try to cut more, sharpen the pencil. And it's like, you know what? I'm just going to say I come down to $700,000.
Yeah.
Now remember, all the other painters are at $1 million, right? I was at 8. Now I dropped it to 7. And I go in and they're like, oh, okay, well, and it's the squeeze.
Again.
They're playing you off yourself.
Every ounce they can. And so I end up, okay, now I'm listed, right? So I'm contracted for the job, $700,000, but the job's worth $1 million. And so now it's the fight to get in there and do the job and work with the superintendent and not get change orders because everyone hates the T&M. And like, so it's a real thing and it's really difficult. And I've noticed that it's less relational, right?
It's more transactional.
If John has another project, I don't have to think about it. I already know he's going to call me. He's not going to shop my number because he knows I'm going to give him a fair price and I'm going to do good quality work. And what's most important, if anything goes wrong, there's no 1 year warrant.
Right.
Like if something goes wrong, I'm coming in to fix it.
Yeah.
Right. And Napa's too small of a town to screw up, but that what we have is not normal anymore. And
but that's how your dad
it's
probably
transactional.
Yeah. But your dad probably did business that way though, right?
Yeah.
And I think that,
the Valley's been kind of built on that also.
True.
The relationships and people don't screw other people over.
Yeah. Napa's a small town.
Yeah.
There's the blacklist, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to get on that. But at the end of the day, like everyone cares about price, right? It's low bidder gets the job, low bidder gets the job. And before you could be a little bit higher and still get the job because they know he's going to perform.
They placed a value on it.
But now it's not like that. And it's hard for a business owner because, all right, I got to be the lowest number, but all the employees want to make more money, right? So they're making more. And the new generations that are coming in and working is not helping.
Are you seeing a lot of out of town contractors come in and try to lowball? Because the only equivalent I have Ben is like in agriculture. So you get a lot of folks like from Stockton that come in and they'll low bid everything, but the quality, and I'm not criticizing because ag is fucking hard work.
Yeah.
But these guys they were working prunes, the harvest before, and then apples, and then they go to grapes. And it's different. So you miss out on the quality. Does that happen in your industry as well? Or is it more kind of Bay Area centric?
It happens, but it's not a deciding factor.
Okay.
And so.
But it's also why you keep all your skilled, talented people on your payroll.
Yeah. Yeah. When you find good employees, you have to keep them. You got to pay them well, give them the benefits, the 401k, the match, the truck, the gas card, the phone, the package, right? Like, you got to keep them, but it's pricey.
Yeah.
It's pricey and it doesn't make it easier, but it's a weird conundrum, man. Yeah. Like business has changed so much. And I just selfishly, I wish like we could go back to the more like relational type of deal.
It's
You
like
know,
us, John.
That's right. We're very relational.
I know. Whoa. I don't know
relational and hateful,
Yeah,
and you know, like that.
But also,
I knew what
from
you
our
meant.
backgrounds in local government, we dealt with, you had to go low bid. And then you'd
Yeah,
find out
totally.
when those low bids were not qualified, literally, or sometimes their work sucked and you had to fix it. And that's where the industry started to get
In government,
a little bit more of a reputation of, could you trust the business? Can you trust the company you signed up for? Okay, we've agreed on terms of the basic cost. And then are you going to change order me to death, or are you going to disappear and not even finish the job because you're not making money like you thought you were going to? And you hear those stories, and I know firsthand, as we were talking about, that RLM is reliable, high quality, relationship oriented, but that's not everybody.
But like your personality, I feel like in the construction industry, it's a dying breed. Like that mentality is not normal anymore. It's all
Having
about
trust in working with.
It's
But that's
lowest
yeah.
number gets the job, and we're gonna tighten up our contract as tight as humanly possible to make sure that we got RLM on the hook.
Yeah, it's leverage.
They're gonna perform at the highest level. We're gonna get the best quality. Like they squeeze you on the price, but they don't. They don't massage the contract at all. Like the scope remains the same. Yeah. And so you're in a pinch, man. Trying to get these jobs done.
Because look, in banking before, it's very similar to what you've been saying, Ben. It was, you would do business with people, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you didn't offer the best term, but it was like, hey, when you need something, we're going to be there. Right. And it's changed now, right?
I think it's coming back in some industries. Right. It's coming back to that.
How do you see that?
Because there is a frustration with people when they call
corporatization
and the AI-ness of the experiences. If I call and have a problem, if I call an energy provider or a cable provider and I never get to a human, it just pisses me off. And if I had an option, I'd go somewhere else. Yeah. And knowing that I can contact somebody, there are a lot of businesses here in Napa Valley that I know I'm going to talk to a person that gives a shit about me as a client.
Well, financial institutions, right? Like, not that we want to promote Redwood Credit Union, but if you have an issue with Redwood Credit, you could talk to someone, right? And we've all had experiences.
You get human contact.
So I think that's where I do think it's going to go back to the basics.
Well, I think a lot of that is because we do a lot of business with these banks, right?
No,
so they're like, oh, hey, Alfredo's calling, Benjamin's calling, like we got to answer.
But it's more, I think it's a little bit, I think there's a culture that is changing that we went through the early 2000s where it was about rapid growth and expansion. And I think you're right, John, where yes, AI has produced some wonderful efficiencies. I had to create a chart today for a client and AI did a wonderful thing. So there's benefits, but then there's still that human interaction, that human touch that you need. And I think in your business, Ben, the service-based business, people are going to fuck up, but they need to know they can call you and that you're going to make it right. And I think there's a lot of value to that. Not that I want to change gears, but I do, John.
Gears. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, because I think
shifting gears to the car club. Is that where you're going?
Actually, I'm not going to the car club. I'm going to, Ben,
we shift gears. I'm the only one dry here. What kind of host? Like, geez.
Oh, Lord, John. But we're going to get
Alfredo, man.
But here's the thing.
Wow.
I've had a chance to know you and your wife and your kids. And I think it's fascinating to see you as a business entrepreneur, but also as a family man. And that's not easy though, right? So how do you balance that, right? Because I know that you're grinding at 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. or whatever. And then I get to see your wife at drop off and then the grind continues. So that's not something that people get to see often, Ben, right? Because they see us on the limelight. They see us in the nice pictures. There's a shit ton of work that happens behind the scenes. So how do you balance that, right? Not just in the words, but like you fucking do it and you've been doing it for a long time. So what is that like, right? Grinding for as long as you've been grinding and having the family and the kids and those things that you value.
Well, thank you. Man,
It's a loaded question. I know.
That is a loaded question.
And Alfredo's sorry
And
that he ran out of wine and he can't provide you.
I'm
I would
texting
share
him.
mine,
What
but,
kind of establishment
I'm
is this, you
texting someone
guys?
about more wine. Don't worry.
very unprofessional. I get
Yeah.
it.
It's a wonderful thing.
But
Yeah.
It's so, yeah. I mean, I say this all the time. One of my mentors, he told me, he said, Benjamin, the early bird gets the worm. And I have never missed the worm. And super basic, super simple, that I took that to heart. And I get a sense of pride when I'm up at 4 a.m, 5 a.m, and I'm on the road and I don't see any other construction vehicles, on the road. And that gives me a little bit of pride. Like, you know what? I'm getting it.
Yeah.
I'm doing what it
Putting
takes.
in the work.
I'm putting in the work. And, on my dying bed, there ain't nobody in this world that can say that I don't have work ethic.
Yeah.
And I love that. I cherish it. And we've talked a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you have the same thing, right? And it's hard, and it's not one of those things that you can just get. It's one of those things that you have to kind of fight through and grow and obtain. And it's hard.
Yeah.
And, thankfully, like, naturally I'm a leader and, entrepreneur, and I just kind of got that vibe, but that helps me to push forward. But it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's tiring. And to this day, you guys, like, I get up, I'm at my office between 4:45 and 5 a.m. at my office, right? So I'm getting up really early. My kids, I don't even know what my kids think, right? Like, Dad's not home ever, right? They think I'm sleeping in every day. I'm still in bed, and they go off to school. But I hustle, I grind, I just show up.
Yeah.
It's what you do. You're so diversified, and you've got your life story is crazy. Like, show up and give your best, right?
Yeah.
Like, and people will see that, right? Like,
you hear that when you talk about elite athletes and you talk about other industries.
First one in, first one out.
Right.
Or last one out.
People know the ones that are grinding the hardest
mhm.
and that are committing everything, sacrificing, and they're all in.
Mhm.
And people in the industry know that you're doing that. Your clients know that you're doing that. And then there's hopefully a sliver of time when you get to relax and have the family time. And I know that you were able to do some of that, but you're also probably kind of compartmentalizing more of that now so you can have more of it later. But also, before we
Wrap up, John.
I do want to
I'm here
kind
for
of
you.
slowly
Wrap up
building
the
into
depends, or
you. So all that would have been enough to keep you busy. And then you became a partner in the Nap Valley Car Club.
yeah,
And I remember when I came out and I did a feature article on early days of the car club.
when we first started.
Yeah. And I remember one quote in particular that you said it roughly, and I'm going to butcher it a little bit, but basically it's like, you are more kind of at home in like a F-150
Mhm.
than an exotic car. And back then, I mean, that's what you always knew is construction vehicles.
Totally.
And so you've allowed yourself and given yourself an opportunity to experience something very different. So tell us, it's a very different lifestyle to be in the luxury exotic car space and the, touring of cars and all that. But that's also still right here in Napa Valley. So tell us a little bit about what that's like, because it's a big pivot.
Yeah, massive pivot. The two businesses, like, if you're a business owner and a strong leader, you can kind of jump into any, like, I could go work for Costco or Walmart and manage a team and lead because I'm a leader. I got the stuff, right? But you have to learn all the nuances and the little this and that. construction to the exotic car rental business that quickly became a experience company that then quickly became a private social club. Like that is so different. You guys, it is so different. Construction company, we go to Staples, we need a ream of paper.
Yeah.
What's the cheapest paper? I'm just buying the cheapest paper I can find because I'm printing it out for a quick spreadsheet and then I'm throwing it in the trash. The car club, we're importing this paper from France,
Italy.
or Italy.
Yeah.
We're looking for, because the marketing, like it seems like a waste of money. And I started out thinking like, you guys know, like that's a waste of money to buy like, thick, I don't know what you call it. Like, what's that thick
maybe
paper?
like
Cardstock, right?
Or parchment, yeah.
But like normal cardstock that you can pick up in the store isn't good enough.
No.
Because the clientele that you're reaching expect a certain level of, and so, we're buying these fancy things for this, or the print quality's got to be good. The videography has got to be like on point. It's just, I've learned a lot, and it's great. And so, I'm kind of contradicting myself because I'm like, oh, if you're a leader, you can run Walmart.
But you're learning the intricacies though, Ben, right? Because your client, your end consumer is someone that's dropping 100 G's, 200 G's on a car. So they don't want flimsy paper, right? So it's understanding the intricacies of the business. Doesn't mean you can't lead, it can't make it successful. It's just a different industry.
Yeah.
Right. And you guys have done a good job of that.
Yeah. Well, what's helpful is like in the car business, I've got business partners, right? In RLM, the buck stops with me.
Yeah.
And so that's hard. There's the pros, right? There's the cons. And, it's, if I want to strategize and try to figure out like, how do I, change this in my business? How do I remarket this? Like, I'm just talking to the wifey about it. And it's like in between kids and like, it's hard, like,
and dinner and laundry.
Yeah. And like there's a laundry list of things that you have to constantly do. It's all on me. The car club, we've got like, there's 5 of us, right? There's 5 brilliant minds that like, hey,
I wouldn't call them all brilliant.
Well, they're my business partners, so
I'm not going to name names, but
very different experience. And you also,
John, wrap it up.
Yeah, you also found a void.
I got soccer practice to pick up kids.
When you leave, John and I are going to stay. Like we're going to build each other up. This is good.
Yeah,
you're coming into the season for the car club also with the weather and all that, and so it'll be interesting to see how much more growth there is in the business, because you've had some pretty significant growth in a short amount of time. In just a couple of years.
Massive.
And so it's impressive.
I agree.
Also, again, finding the bandwidth to be able to do that on top of everything we talked about with your business and that priority, and then family. Oh, by the way, is a top priority. So,
and he's a hell of a golfer too, by the way.
Nice. Well, that's business also.
Not anymore. I mean, I used to, I still love golf. I used to golf a lot. Now,
well, I'm going to get back out there with my new shoulder. I asked my surgeon to give me a little bit more of a draw on my driver. So we'll see if he did a good job. That's why you had
surgery.
Oh yeah, totally. It's all about my golf game.
Yeah, I think you're going to need like a hydraulic spring back there. To get
no, they put it in there.
Okay, good. Yeah. Where's the button? We got to push like the left nipple and that'll engage.
Yeah,
Jerry has it. Jerry has it.
Thanks for spending some time this afternoon with us.
Well done,
and I'm sorry that Alfredo can't do a better job of supplying you with wine while we're here.
This is embarrassing, guys.
It is embarrassing. I would offer some of mine. Would you like some of mine?
No, very sad.
I'm good.
Very sad.
But next time, when we talk more about the car club, then we'll be sure to have plenty to get through.
Well done, Ben. Good job.
Yeah, thanks
for the visit, and looking forward to seeing you around town in those exotic cars.
Caleb, he's pretty good.
Zoom.
I would say cheers to you guys, but
I can't land.
Cheers.
Are you guys out of wine?
Alfredo, I know that it's a tough time for you right now because it's still Lent and you've given up cigars for Lent, and I'm sorry about the carryover smoke.
I cannot believe you're going there, John.
But
You were a Catholic at one point.
I still am. But I told you I gave up kale. I really enjoyed our conversation with Benjamin. We both known him for a long time and have had, personal relationships, but also professional. And I really wanted to highlight the commitment he has made, not only as a second generation business owner here in the Napa Valley and the North Bay, but also the dedication and commitment he's made to his team to deliver quality, but also to make sure that he takes care of his people.
Look, I love the guy, and I say it past tense because once he said you were one of his favorite clients, his credibility went down.
I know that hurt you a little bit.
It hurt more than a little bit. Look,
let me give you a little smoke.
Stop. See, and then you do things like that, right? But look, to be a business owner in Napa and be his age, it's hard, right? And I think today we got to see a little bit of the behind the scenes, John, which is what we've tried to do, right? It is hard to struggle. It's hard to grind when you're getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning to be in the office while most people are sleeping. That's what people don't see, right? And I've seen it with Ben because I've known him for a while. He's a partner of mine in some of the buildings we own. But that's what you want, and that's what you want to highlight. Success is not easy, right?
So it's also a reminder. We've talked to folks that are in the wine business and have the same kind of dedication and commitment and the struggle of going around, traveling around the country to promote their business and to sell their product.
Yeah.
And we've talked to others in different industries, and to see and hear about what it's like to own a painting and construction company. That's where the hardcore work and housing development, commercial development is happening. That's a really important part of Napa Valley also.
Look, I think you're right on that, but I think we've also highlighted whether you're a chef, whether you're a vintner, right, or whether you're a farming person, there's some common themes here, John. It takes hard work. So I hope anyone that is tuning in, whether you're someone that understands it or you're one of those haters that loves to tune in because it's you and I hope you gain a perspective of how hard people are working to make it. And you can't judge them by what you see today. There's so much right behind the scenes, the tip of the iceberg type of thing of what people are doing. Ben, Rick, and Grant and others are an example of what most people are doing, John, to make it, to achieve success, to be able to take vacation, to be able to have the car you have. There's so much that is required. And I think we're actually doing a pretty good job, John, of highlighting that perspective.
I agree. And in case people didn't realize, this is the first time that we haven't had wine out here to enjoy, but we are enjoying a little bit of tequila. And so with that,
how do you know I like tequila, John?
Shocking.
You've known me for a while,
Cheers.
my friend. Salud.